What a fantastic reading. You guys are amazing. It's because of all of you, all 3 generations of you. Because I see white hair and I see no hair. You guys were the originals. You found us way back when. Oh, you're too young to be the original. You were 4. Very precocious. But you had good taste growing up. But you were the original ones who discovered Star Trek, and we needed every one of you because our ratings were very, very low. All 3 seasons. And of course, during those 3 seasons, we did battle with all sorts of adversaries, the Klingons, the Romulans, even creatures like the Horta. But in 3 years, we discovered that the most destructive adversary we ever faced were the NBC programming executives. Canceled us after 3 seasons, despite the fact that at the beginning of each episode, we announced that we were on a 5-year mission. But the programming people had the numbers to cancel it. And yet, when we went into syndication, the local stations put Star Trek on 5 days a week, continuously. And that's when we found the next generation, the younger ones here. And bless your heart, you had children, and now there's a 3rd generation. And so 3 generations of Star Trek fans have created this amazing phenomenon of a very unsuccessful 3 seasons of the TV show that went on to syndication and then gave birth to 4 children. The spin-off series, The Next Generation, Deep Space Nine, Voyager, and Enterprise. And now, thanks to you, next year, in the year 2016, Star Trek becomes 50 years old.
Yeah.
It is an amazing phenomenon, but you guys all did it with your undying support, your tenacity, and your devotion to Star Trek. So we want to thank you very much for that. But the other thing we're reminded of, over those 50 years, we lost many of the dear creative people that made Star Trek what it is, people that became friends over the years. And most recently, as you know, we lost Leonard Nimoy, who created the amazing, incredible character, Spock. So we all remember him for what he did. He was a brilliant actor, but more than that, he was an extraordinary human being. He was someone, apart from his acting talent, who had so many other talents. He was a great director. He knew how to analyze a script. He was a great artist. He was a photographer. And he was a very socially active person. Leonard and I and Walter Takei, often found ourselves supporting the same political candidates or advocating the same social issues. We became kindred political figures. And beyond that, he was a very, very loyal friend. Every time I did theater in Los Angeles, there he was in the audience, and he came backstage to share his comments with me. Leonard did Equus, Peter Shaffer's brilliant play, on Broadway, and he got great reviews. I did the same play and the same role in Los Angeles. And I didn't think Leonard would come to see that. But an usher came up to me during the intermission, very excited, and he said, "Leonard Nimoy's in the audience." I thought, oh my. Leonard came to see me in Equus playing Dysart. And I girded my loins because he always comes backstage. And sure enough, after the performance, there was Leonard, smiling that Unspockian smile. And I said, well, Leonard, how'd I do? And he said through his smile, you are better. Now that's a bald-faced lie. But that's the kind of guy Leonard is. So self-effacing, but at the same time, so praising of his friends. He was a dear friend. And last year, last summer, our Brad and my documentary, To Be Takei, came out. We had a special screening for all our close friends in Hollywood. And Leonard had been ill for some time now. He had COPD, congestive obstructive pulmonary disease. It came from, he quit, but he was a chain smoker. When we were doing the TV series, he was going out of the soundstage regularly to get a smoke. Eventually he quit because he's a determined guy and he was able to quit. I have friends who take pride in saying, oh, smoking is easy to quit. I've done it many times. Leonard did it just once. And it's, again, a commentary about Leonard. His determination, his tenacity, and his self-control. But, nevertheless, that smoking early on raised its ugly head. And he had been ill for some time. And so I didn't think Leonard, we sent him an invitation, but I didn't think Leonard would be there. But when we were about ready to begin the screening, in rolled Susan, his wife, with Leonard on a wheelchair. He came on his wheelchair. He had that breathing thing, you know, on the nose, and he had his oxygen. But he came. I was so touched by that. The devotion of his friendship. Even when he was ill, I was very, very touched by that. That's the kind of friend that Leonard was. And that's the kind of friend that we lost over the years. Gene Roddenberry, the creator and the visionary of Star Trek, he was that kind of very special, extraordinary human being. Jimmy Doohan was a different kind of friend. He was a down-to-earth, backsliding buddy. I called him my best drinking buddy. And I learned a lot about drinking from him. And he educated me. You know, Jimmy played a Scotsman, but he really was of Irish ancestry, Doohan. But he told me that I've drunk enough of the libation of Scotland to qualify playing a Scotsman. So you know what his favorite drink was. He was a great guy, and I loved him dearly. DeForest was another kind of guy, very unusual for an actor. He was a very shy guy, and to tell you the truth, he didn't like doing conventions. I mean, he liked people individually, but in mass, all together, you guys overwhelmed him. And that's why you didn't see him at too many conventions. But one-on-one, he was a very sweet guy. He came from Macon, Georgia, and he was a Georgian and a Southerner. That's Southern gentlemanly quality. Very polite, very thoughtful, and very ethical. And I loved Dee in a whole different way. And so as we celebrate our 50th anniversary next year, I also think of the loss. But then, at the same time, they left us with such a wonderful gift, the memories of our friendship. And so in the evenings, you know, when I look up at the sky and see the stars, I know that I see all of them somewhere up there, twinkling up in the galaxies where they belong. And so on behalf of all of us, I thank you for the support, the undying support that you have given us over the last 49 years. And next September, well, we haven't come to this September yet, but a year from that September, we will be 50 years old. Isn't that wonderful? I get to sit